Children's Storytime, presented by BMGFly. Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. Today we are reading Muhiima's Quest by Rahma Rodaah, illustrated by Daria Orb, read to you by Nia Malika Dixon. Today we are reading Muhiima's Quest, written by Rahma Rodaah, illustrated by Daria Orb. One bright summer morning, Muhiima bolted out of bed feeling excited. She stared at herself in the mirror to see if anything had changed. Had she gotten taller in the middle of the night? Now we know that's not possible. But a girl can dream. You see, today was no ordinary day. Today was her birthday. She quickly got dressed, hurried down the stairs, and was greeted by her mother's loving arms. "I know today is a special day, and because of this, I have a surprise for you," Mother said. Muhiima was shocked. She could not recall her parents ever celebrating any of her birthdays. In fact, other than celebrating Eid, they discouraged any other celebration and always reminded her it was not part of their Islamic practice. "Is it a birthday gift?" Muhiima asked skeptically. "Well, kind of," Mother replied. Sounds like a mystery unfolding here. Her mother handed her a map she had never seen before. Muhiima looked at it, puzzled. This map looked old with delicate details and her mother's beautiful handwriting. "What is this for, Mom?" "Today you will go on a quest. Use the map to find your way," said Mother. "Take your bike, but please be careful, and don't forget your prayer before you leave." Still unsure of what to do, Muhiima wheeled out her bike. She studied the map for a long time before she began pedaling fast and hard. She knew the first stop on the map. This is a mystery. Now, she knew the first stop. Let's find out. Wow, this is beautiful. Muhiima loved her father's bookstore, a place where fairies danced with dragons and castles were built from books. She dreamed of one day reading all the books her father owned, something he hadn't done himself. As usual, there was a long line of people waiting to buy books. Her father was busy with a customer, but as soon as he spotted her, he came rushing to meet her. That looks so cool. Have you ever seen a bookstore with so many books up against the wall like that? It's so pretty. These are beautiful illustrations. There's Muhiima, and there's Daddy. "Muhiima, my sweet darling," he said, swirling her around. "Salaam alaikum, Daddy. Mommy told me to come see you. You are the first stop on my map," she said excitedly. "Thank you for coming to see me, and thank you for being a wonderful daughter." Muhiima blushed and smiled. Father knelt and presented her with a small purple box adorned with a delicate gold and white bow. "You know how valuable books are to me?" he asked. "Those rare, unique books I search far and wide for because they are only a few copies in the world?" She nodded and recalled the many times her father had stayed up into the night on the computer searching for rare books. "Well, my princess, you are as rare as what is in this box and more beloved to me than the most expensive book in the world." Curious, Muhiima started to open the box, but her father stopped her. "Do not open it until you have completed all the stops on your map and you are back home. Don't worry, you will understand everything soon," he said. As she turned her back and started walking away, her father took hold of her hand. "You know, Muhiima, I remember as if it were yesterday the day you were born. You see, I was also born on that day. I was reborn as a father, the best role God could ever have chosen for me. I try every day to live up to that honor. I'm so proud of you and the young woman you are turning out to be. Now shoo, before my customers see me crying like a baby." Daddy was happy too. Wonderful. That little purple box. Now I'm curious what's inside. Smiling but still puzzled, Muhiima took the small purple box and headed out. The next stop on her map was her grandparents' house. On her bike, leaving her dad's bookstore. Such a pretty building. On her way to her grandparents. As soon as she walked into their house, she could smell the aroma of chocolate cookies, her favorite. "Grandpa, Grandpa," she called. "We're in the garden," Grandmother answered. Wow. I think they have a surprise for her. She always loved the smell of her grandparents' garden. The combination of flowers, vegetables, and herbs was indescribable and always reminded her of the big family Sunday dinners Grandmother hosted. As usual, Grandmother was knee-deep in dirt in her garden. Grandmother greeted her with a smile. "Peace be upon you, dear daughter of our daughter. How are you?" "Salaam alaikum, Grandmother. I am good. The map led me to you. Do you have something for me?" Grandmother took a small box from her apron pocket. It was exactly like the one her father had given her. "Don't forget your roots. They are what ground you, nourish you, and make you who you are. Your roots contain your history and support you while you grow into your future." Grandmother whispered. "What's in the box? I don't understand any of this," said Muhiima. "Don't worry. You will know soon enough. Now continue your journey," said Grandmother. She kissed the top of Muhiima's head. Muhiima took the box, kissed her grandfather's forehead, and left. She got back on her bicycle and rode off. Her next stop was her Sunday school teacher, Miss Noura. That's a very lush garden. And look, there's Grandfather. He looks like he's taking a nap. And there they are. Grandmother had a lot of wisdom for her on her birthday. Muhiima walked into her Quran class and saw all the bent heads of girls reciting their Quran. Their voices mixed like ocean waves. It wasn't quiet. In fact, the air was buzzing with noise, but somehow it still felt soothing. The melody of the Quran always had that effect on her. She located Miss Noura, her Sunday Quran teacher, in the far back, helping a young girl. Muhiima approached politely and silently made her presence known. "Salaamu alaikum, my sweet girl. I'm so happy to see you. I have something for you." "Wa alaikum assalam," Muhiima answered as she collected her now familiar small box. "I also wanted to remind you, God has created you with both grace and beauty, so walk in modesty. Guard what should be guarded and never boast about your blessings." Miss Noura hurried back to her students before Muhiima could ask her anything. That was some really great wisdom. She's getting all kinds of gifts. See? Special wisdom on her birthday. And boxes. Surprises inside. Next, Muhiima headed to her aunt's henna salon. Walking into her aunt's salon always made her smile. The salon was always bursting with laughter from the stories being recounted and filled with colors of the henna on all the hands of whichever bride or customer was in that day. Her aunt's henna designs were the best in town, and everyone sought her for any party they attended. "Salaam alaikum, Auntie Selma, how are you today?" Her aunt, whose dress was covered with henna, ran to greet her. "Wa alaikum assalam. Here's the princess I've been waiting for. Now wait, I have something for you. Here it is. Now remember, little woman, God has created you to be an accessory to any man or woman. Know your value and hold your head high." "Please explain this odd game my parents are playing with me, Auntie," Muhiima begged. "You are blessed to have such loving parents. Now scoot. I have a lot of work to do," Aunt Selma replied as she gently shoved her out the door. Muhiima could still hear the women's laughter as she descended the stairs. This quest is really taking her places. The henna salon. Look at her auntie all dressed all cute. Right there. And the henna on her dress. What's next? Muhiima again consulted her map and saw that her last destination before returning home was the local basketball court. She could hear the bouncing of balls and the shouting from a heated game before she even stopped her bike. She stood there mesmerized by the players' skill and the cheering crowd. Whew. That looks like she's about to enter a very exciting arena. I wonder who's there. Ah, just who I thought. She couldn't spot her uncle at first, but after some time she saw him land a dunk that drove the crowd wild. She cheered and applauded, proud to see her uncle play so well. In a moment, Omar appeared next to her, out of breath but smiling. "Oh, salam alaikum, Uncle Omar, you played so well." "Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Muhiima. I have to go back out there soon, but here, I have this for you." He presented her with a box identical to those she had collected so far. "Remember," he said, "this world is your oyster, literally." He laughed and kissed her on both cheeks and then departed as fast as he had appeared. She watched the game for a few more minutes before leaving. She hoped to play as well as her uncle did one day. Look at that. He's dunking on them. So cool. Muhiima looked at her map one last time and then got back on her bike. Her last stop was back home, where she had begun this strange journey. As she pedaled down the street to her house, she spotted her school friend Rosie and her parents in her favorite ice cream shop. They were celebrating Rosie's birthday. Muhiima paused at the window and looked longingly at them. Then she looked at all the unopened boxes in the front basket of her bicycle and wondered why she couldn't just celebrate like all her other classmates. Why couldn't her parents take her out and buy her gifts like Rosie? Why does she always have to explain why her family did things differently? She wished she could be like all the other kids and do things the same way. Muhiima turned away from the ice cream parlor, feeling a little sad, but pedaled home at full speed. After that long quest, though, there's got to be something at the end. But that does look like a really cool party. At her favorite ice cream shop, no less. Let's see what's next. I think you'll like this part. She walked into the house with flushed cheeks. As she got close to the living room, she could hear more voices than usual. As she stepped in, she was stunned by all the decorations and the lovely colors. She was amazed to see that every person she had encountered on her quest that day was there now, waiting for her. How did they all get there? Everyone rushed to greet her. Her uncle, her aunt, her grandparents, her father, her mother, even Miss Noura. They were all gathered around the table, which was full of the food they normally served on Eid. The house smelled like her favorite dishes all mixed into one mouth-watering bite. Now see, she's getting the celebration, the party that she wanted. Look at that, those pretty decorations, and all the people who love her. That's so special. Oh, wow, what's going on? Her mother took her hand and sat her on her favorite antique pink chair. Now, Muhiima, you've had questions all day, so it is time for you to find out what's in the boxes. Her mother placed all the boxes in Muhiima's lap as everyone surrounded her. Her eyes grew wide as she opened the first. Wow, is it a pearl? Yes, they are all pearls, Mother said. As Muhiima opened each box, her mother took out the pearl inside and started to string them on a gold chain she was holding. Now rise, my darling, Mother said. She placed the necklace around Muhiima's neck and fastened it. All those pearls of wisdom that she collected. Such a blessing. That's so wonderful. Oh, everybody looks so pretty too. You see, Muhiima, you have a whole village that has helped your father and me shape you into the wonderful daughter you have become. Always remember each person's advice. Some things that you have been told may not make sense to you now, but one day they will. Don't be ashamed of your uniqueness. Embrace it and celebrate it as we are celebrating you today. You know we don't celebrate birthdays, but we thought it was important to show you how beautifully different you are. You might not always do the same things as the other kids, but it doesn't mean you will be left out. Even within your own family, you might see others decide to do things differently and celebrate things that your father and I don't think are important. But each family does things in their own way and with love. Hold on to your necklace and all its meanings and teachings. Some people will want to steal your necklace, so guard it fiercely. Others might want you to remove it, so hold on to it tightly. Some might want you to forget it. Remember what it stands for, and all the pearls of wisdom from each person has passed on to you. Muhiima beamed with joy. She couldn't stop admiring the caressing her new necklace, and all the important values it would remind her of for years to come. She was so happy to have a family dinner with all the people in her life she loved and admired, and who inspired her so much. Muhiima realized that her life might not be the same as her classmates, but it was truly unique and beautiful. There's everybody. Auntie, uncle, grandparents, mom, dad. The people who matter and the people who love her. Wonderful. The end. That turned out to be such a great adventure. Muhiima was so surprised. But you know what? Our life is full of surprises, especially from people we love. This was such a beautiful story. I hope you enjoyed the adventure that we went on. You can get this book at a bookstore, or you can go online and find it on Amazon, or try your local library. I bought this book. I went directly to the author's website and got it. Her name is Rahma Rodaah. I hope you enjoyed this story. Next week we'll have another one. See you then. Bye.